earthquake in Mexico?
Yeah, there was an earthquake. All right, boys. Y'all ready? Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cantina MX Football Podcast. We're back with episode 301. Before we get started, just want to make sure everybody in Mexico is okay. There was an earthquake earlier today, so hopefully everyone's out there safe listening to us live on YouTube. We're going to go over the World Cup qualifying matches that we had over the weekend, and we got another one coming up tomorrow. Want to hear from the panel tonight. Joining us tonight is Joel. Joel, how we doing?
Greetings, Jaime.
And
Doing good. Doing good. We had a pretty good jornada of World Cup qualifying
Yes, sir.
that I think it's going to leave many Mexi fans that were feeling salty after some defeats, some choice defeats. I think right now they're really in joy.
Absolutely. And we got the Florida man, Chiquis. How we doing? Awesome. Well, I mean, let's get right into it. World Cup qualifiers kicked off on Thursday, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit of nerve-wracking against Jamaica. Mexico found a way to win, and they got the victory over Jamaica. It was Alexis Vega, but then they missed a sitter thanks to Piojo Alvarez, missed a sitter, and on the immediate counterattack, Jamaica tied up the game, and Henry Martin bailed us out in the 89th minute. And then we also had Mexico surprisingly on the road beating Costa Rica. It was a little bit tight at the end. Costa Rica started to pile on, but they held on to the results. And gentlemen, Mexico are perfect record, 6 out of 6 points. Did you guys think this was going to happen, or is this a little bit surprising? Oh, yeah?
What was a Chiquis refresh?
Damn.
I was expecting four. I did four, but I've been a Tata apologist. Even with three, I would have been fine.
Yeah, I'm over here eating crow. You know, I thought it was going to be maybe 4 points. But these are some big boy victories, especially on the road. And of course, winning at home. That is something that the current Nations Cup and current Gold Cup winners could not do. USA tied both games. They have 2 points. They're not even, if this was to end right now, they wouldn't even make it to the World Cup. So did we fret? Did we stress? Were we too hard on this Mexican team over the summer?
Yes, we sounds like too many. Jaime, I always I remain faithful to Tata. not not everyone Chiquis. I had faith in him too. I, I did. I wanted him back when he was at
Cholos.
Tijuana. Yes, I actually wanted Chivas to go after him, and he didn't. He's not those fancy strikers, but he gets clutch goals, and that's I'm good with that.
Ooh, I'm sorry about that. How was that? Mm, right.
Yeah, but Chicky. Sometimes they have to play that angle where it's like they have to have some type of story, some narrative accompanying it, so that they could have like a talking point, and that could have been something they were going after, like have him as a focus or a focal point during the broadcast.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how we win. It's just important that we win. Let us not forget about the 2014 CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers where Mexico, out of 10 games, only won 2 of those and had to play against New Zealand for the 32nd spot of the World Cup. So things could be worse. I mean, we've already matched that Mexican team from 2014 with 2 victories, and no one's gonna be really thinking about, well, it was a bunker against Jamaica, and it was an unconvincing game against Costa Rica. It was a PK and a very cringy PK celebration by Orbelin
Yeah,
Pineda. But
but it's easy for us to say those things, though, huh? What was it, Chickies? No, I was just saying, like Mexico fans, we a lot of times we have these expectations, and that some of these games should be easier, but we're not the ones playing. We don't know what it's like to actually travel into some of these countries or to play these games. And I think we go off of the media again. I'm gonna attack them again because they put this narrative out there. The ones that push this idea, and we could go back to La Volpe with this. We'll qualify walking, and he had that that qualifier. A lot of the teams, if you go back and you look at the squads and you look at the players, they were pretty weak, and that happens sometimes, which is why we have such a poor opinion of the region. But on average, it's pretty difficult, and Mexico has struggled a lot throughout the years, not just like 4 years, 5, just throughout the whole years. You could go back to 90. We could go back to World Cup '94 because that's since Mexico's been.
uh-huh.
That's since they've been qualifying on a regular basis. And to get there, it took him to the last match against Canada. Abuelo Cruz scoring that goal, and we've had other goals like that against Canada again when Jose Bozo scored the goal, or else the team wouldn't have made it to the hexagonal. And so, I don't know why Mex fans forget that it hasn't always been an easy ride. There are there are qualifiers where the team's gonna struggle a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, it goes to show, you throw everything out the window. The goal is to get to Qatar as quickly as possible. So having two straight victories, yes, that's just the best. That's the perfect start. How do you guys feel about our chances against Panama tomorrow?
Is it at home or is it
No,
away?
it's on the road at 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, Panama has been the second best team.
That's right.
Um, I think Mexico pull out the draw.
They're not gonna go perfect 3 for 3.
Well, I think Panama's been, if Panama plays it right, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they would settle for the draw because Mex is the type of team that, you open up and they will, you know, they will get you. So I do think if they play their cards right, they could continue being up there in the points. So I wouldn't risk it against Mex. If I'm seeing this from the Panamanian side. So if I'm Panama, I'm like, well, all right, if there's a rival, I could respect it's gonna be these guys.
That's right.
And Jamaica's been the worst team.
It was 1-1. Yeah, it was 1-1.
Oh yeah,
Oh, most definitely.
they
Most
they
most.
would have started booing within 10 minutes.
I know it's kind of crazy to think about that, but it actually did end up becoming an advantage for Mexico.
It is. They they've always been like that. Like sort of like if you're not playing to entertain, they will start booing. They never been very supportive of la selección.
And let's absolutely. So, how do you guys feel about the comments about the Costa Rican coach saying that Mexico is giant among midgets? Or maybe I'm paraphrasing that. What was the quote, Chiggies?
Get giant among midgets.
Enanos.
Oh,
No.
no, I don't. Refresh our memories, chickies. There is truth to what he says, but at the end of the day, he's making the rest of the region look bad. Because he is taking credit away from X, but at the same time, he's saying these teams aren't worth, you know, they're not worth much. Yeah,
Mm.
but that's not Mexico's fault. And that's the whole thing with Mex at the end of the day, where it's like you can't say, oh, they only look good in CONCACAF. Because that used to be for a while. I remember back when they first started competing in Copa America and whatnot, saying, oh yeah, just because CONCACAF. But it's been like what 20 years, 30 years now, competing regularly at top level. you know, going off, facing off against the biggest teams. So so they're a team that they hold their own no matter where they're at.
What's up with these coaches throwing jabs at Mexico? There was another one, I think the Panamanian coach saying, yeah, I mean, we look forward to playing against some Mexicans, you know, basically indicating that, we're using naturalizados and Funes Mori's not Mexican. Um, so, I mean, it's
It's
just a lot
just
of
it's
salt, man.
just where it's just yeah, they're just trying to get in their heads.
What's going on? Chiqui's, think he's switching. Hello?
Hey, you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm switching because I couldn't hear my audio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like we can hear you fine, but I guess the YouTube stream wasn't able to pick up your voice, so Ricardo was
Yeah.
complaining about that. Shout out to Ricardo, saying Mexico should have won 2-0. They grabbed Funes Mori midair and pulled him down by the shirt. Ticos cochinos. Mexico isn't look pretty to look at, but they're efficient for about 75 minutes a game. Okay. Yeah. All I know is Funes Mori, or they're calling him Fallas Mori now. I think he's getting a lot of criticism for being the striker and not being from Mexico. It's like you already have a bunch of people like against you at minute 0-0 before the game even kicks off, and then when you miss, it's even more magnified. But I mean, I remember Chicharito missing left and right, man. So I feel like this is just another person to just put the blame on, but I think he's been playing fine. I do think Henry Martin came through for us against Jamaica, and I don't know, for this game, I would maybe switch things up. Unfortunately, we did lose Alexis Vega. He got injured pretty badly. I don't really know when if he's going to be out for the year, out for the season. It looked really bad, but I don't know. We'll have to see. But that is,
What they say, torn Achilles or
I don't know if it was, somebody tweeted that, but I don't think that was true. But yeah, I think they've sent him back to Guadalajara for observation or something.
Yeah, that's the quote I was talking about. The Panamanian talking about playing against what is it, 10 Mexicans and one Argentinian, and that was pretty funny, and it's actually true. But then apparently, and I don't know how accurate it is, we still said that Panama has like several naturalized or mixed cultured players as well. So, but
if only chickies, if only there was a way to find out that info.
who's gonna look into Panama stuff? Like Panama can, like in my
It
opinion,
takes
Panama
like
barely,
it takes
barely,
like 2 minutes.
well, they're barely putting together a team, a professional team. They could grab from whoever they need. They're the least of my concerns. But well,
No, but I mean
until they beat Mexico.
that's a weak sauce. That whole 10 Mexicans, 1 RG. It's very weak sauce. It's not
Just
like the other teams have never, had players from other countries. They've played with naturalizados.
it's
And
just antics,
no,
but it's good. It's
yeah,
good. I like to hear it.
and it's one. I could imagine if it was 4 or 5, but just one. That's just he's just trying to mess with them. If he could get in, in Funes Mori's head, he did his job.
Yeah, I can see what Jaime's saying about him. Like I think he is doing well. It's not. I mean, every now and then you're gonna miss. But Mexican fans seems to just criticize every single like play. Like
Yep.
if one person doesn't do well, that's why they hate Chaka. Like he'll make one mistake, and they'll like rail on him. But like if Ache makes a mistake, they'll be like, oh, never, don't pay attention to that. It's just
Yeah, it's
Ache.
just
They'll pass it
he's
off
under
on
more
him.
scrutiny,
Well,
Yeah,
that was I got the good example for that because that was Massa.
yeah,
They always call him a tronco. They they said he sucked, and he went on to have one of the best careers. So if you look at across the board, Mexican defenders, he's
yeah. He went to Europe, and then
not at
people started
Rafa
being
Marquez
excited.
level, but he played what 3 World Cups. He played in Europe. He
he,
won
Yeah.
league titles, and
is he
and
is he the only player to win a title with Chivas and America, or am I tripping?
they could be. Good question though.
It's a good trivia
Um,
question.
yeah, good.
Look that up.
I'll never forgive him though, because he did say that the title with America was sweeter, and he also like flipped off somebody, right? He was like flipped off the media or something.
Oh, I vaguely remember that.
But yeah, I mean,
But speaking of America, though, I have to come to the defense of not Club America, but United States of America.
let's hear it.
The like you sort of dissed on the U.S. national team, like tying the first 2 games and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
It is. I will say it is. I will say it is early still for them. But we can't forget that they just whipped up on Mexico. And yes, they're on they're not on the right path. Their players are like, have been hyped this whole
That,
time, and now they're having a little bit of trouble. Now the media is sort of getting onto them, fans are getting onto them, and now this is sort of like pressure that Mexico has had this whole time. I don't think it's still at the level because it's not like U.S. national news and stuff.
Well,
But
here's the thing though. I think this is what's happening is like his tactics are finally getting exploited, because against Mexico, like let's not forget the 2 games that they lost, the 2 finals. I mean, it took overtime, and it also took like sort of like a last minute ditch effort. One of them, I think both of them were from set pieces. So it's like I think that worked out in those like knockout games, but in this round robin or whatever, this qualifier, this hex or octagon, I don't even know. There's like 8 teams now. I think like his tactics are starting to get exposed a little bit, and I think that's where the reality is starting to check in for the the USA. They're like, oh shit, we're not going to be able to get away with this, for this qualifier.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
think
you know what? I have a problem with Chiqui's word usage. You said whooped. Two winning with a OT and penalty kicks is not accept. I don't know that doesn't go in my definition of whooped.
well, one of the games was definitely not their full starting lineup.
Yeah, but
And
it doesn't. It you make it seem like you know they had Mex against the ropes. You know,
they shut them
where they
down. But they,
or that they outplayed them, and that wasn't the case in either game. And I think that's part of like people forget how. And then both games were here in the U.S., so you kind of forget how they won, and it just leads to the more hype. So you have this young squad. They all play in Europe. They beat
okay,
Mexico twice.
all right,
So the
I'll retract.
expectation is super high that well they could beat Mex, which technically they didn't, not in regulation time. Then these other teams are gonna be, weak sauce, and we're just gonna
Oh,
shouldn't have a
okay.
difficult
So,
time, and it's
so I'll retract and I'll say not whooped, but they couldn't handle the U.S. Mexico couldn't handle. Okay, I think the U.S. They have good talent, individual talent, but like you said, their cohesion and their tactics might not be up to par. And even long ago, not long ago, but years back, when Pulisic was coming on the scene, everyone was like, "Oh, Pulisic is gonna like dominate." And yes, he would show flashes, but as a whole team, there wasn't like a real danger. And now with all these other players that are like really hyped up and really good playing in Europe and everything, they're still not like the huge danger as a team against Mexico, but still Mexico isn't able to impose their will and like actually win the game in these past two tournaments against the U.S. So even with bad tactics on Berhalter's side and the lack of cohesion through these star players, Mexico couldn't get through them because of Tata, and that's I think a large part of it is Tata, and we saw that with Jamaica when I was like, man, this is like should like what Ron says, this should be a cat and mouse game and get them to push out, but Jamaica was just bunkering, and Mexico can't handle that. After all these years, Mexicans still don't know what to do against the bunker. So that's the my complaints are more on the Mexican side than hyping up the U.S. national team.
I do find it really funny. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Um, they interviewed the men's national team after they drew against Canada at home. See if I can find the clip. It was pretty funny. They said, yeah, they didn't want to play. They just sat back and defended. I'm like, huh, that sounds familiar. That sounds vaguely familiar. You mean like when you guys play against Mexico, you sit back and defend?
What does that mean? What does that mean though? It
What?
means that it seems like the U.S. So they're complaining the same way Mexico complained. So they are like the mini Mexico or the Mexico from back in the day, which means they're the ones that are controlling the pace, and the other teams have to bunker against them. Whereas back in the day, it was all the teams had to bunker against Mexico. So U.S. is sort of progressing in that aspect to where yeah now they're imposing. They need to do the offense, and they're not the ones bunkering. They're the ones coming onto the attack. That's just like an indication of their increased skill level individually on their players.
Yeah, I mean, it's playing in El Salvador to start off the qualifiers. I mean, that's not easy on anybody. So, I mean, I can give them the pass there, but drawing at home to Canada, that is a no no. That is a no no. You got to win your home games.
no. I mean, you do have to win them, but again, like Max having difficult time against Jamaica, so it's not
Yeah, but
like
they
the
got the win though.
expectation that you could just beat them. Huh?
But they got the win at the end of the day. They found it. They
No,
found the
I know,
victory.
but it just kind of shows just how difficult it could be. And Canada, again, because we're thinking Canada, and then we're just seeing a team that historically, they're pretty weak, but they've been working their national team. They've been putting a lot of work for a while now, and because of course they're gonna be part host too. So that's one of the things. But they've been doing a lot. I mean,
Alfonso Davies, so good.
aside from the two MLS teams, they have their own league now. So that's more players that they have available compared to before. So I mean, they're doing their part too. And as you know, we don't keep track on those teams because we don't follow them. But then when the tournaments like this roll around, our our image of them are still from like 4 years ago. So you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
think
it's like a girl. She's like the ugly duck, and then you see her at a party 4 years later, and she's all hot. You're like, when did this happen? And so
we saw that
yeah,
last time though. When I think John went to Canada, right, to cover a Mexico-Canada match, and
yeah.
that was actually a pretty good Canada team that Mexico won, but they gave some fight. So this Canada team might be actually pretty good, and
Well,
El
well, even
Salvador is always
even
tough
if
at
they're
home.
not good, if you're putting in a lot of work into your team, they're putting in more money for to play more amistosos and bring in better trainers, not just coach, but like even not just manager, but coaches. So yeah, you're eventually you're gonna have a team that is more stronger
That's
than if
making
they're
me,
just.
yeah,
But
that's
yeah, so I
that's
mean,
making me come up with a prediction though, man. See,
what
I
is
think the U.S. had the tougher of the two games than Mexico did, and so I think Mexico might lose to Panama, dude.
I don't know about
But they're
that.
playing away. We'll see, man.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
have
make
to
my
stop you
prediction.
there.
well,
All
and
right.
the same with Panama. We were talking about them. I don't know if it was in the podcast or in the DM group. We were talking about how when they started like building their soccer program and how they were sending players to Colombia. They had the Colombian players, and then they were bringing in Colombian coaches. The managers, and that's a big reason they ended up becoming contenders in the region. So that's another team. They sort of went down because a lot of those players got old. They aged out, but I do think as long as they keep at it, I do feel they're going to be one of the stronger teams.
Yeah, we'll have
Well,
to
we remember Panama.
go ahead.
We remember Panama from one of them previous Gold Cup games. They had Mexico shaking in their boots, and then they claimed they were cheating. Well, that was with that ref also that has horrible calls and didn't take control of the game.
If I'm
But
not
yeah,
mistaken, wait, who did Mexico lose to in that Gold Cup? I think it was it Panama or
no, they beat Panama on a penalty, a controversial penalty. But then they
oh,
lost to Jamaica. I think they lost to Jamaica, right, at the end.
there was one that they lost in the semis. I forgot who that was. I think it was. I think it was in 2013. In 2013, Mexico lost to Panama, and then USA ended up beating them in the final. Yeah, 2013. But we'll see how it goes. I think they should have enough to get the victory. I want to see now that I see them win 2 in a row. I want to see them go for the third. Panama beat they did beat Jamaica 3-0, and they did tie out Costa Rica. So I mean, we've had the similar opponents, the same opponents, and we'll have to wait and see. The only thing is Alexis Vega is out, and I think Edson Alvarez, accumulation of yellows, he's also out. So we will be without those two players, but I'm sure they'll get the job done. USA and Honduras play tomorrow, and I remember that game in Denver in the Nations League, and it took 89th minute for USA to beat Honduras. They were giving them a hard time, and let us not forget in Guadalajara when they had the tournament to qualify for the Olympics. Honduras beat USA in the semifinal. So I would say this is going to be a pretty evenly matched game, and I can see Honduras winning, especially because they're hosting.
Oh, against the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I would definitely not sleep on Honduras, man. They've been
And the United States, as we know, as of late or as recent news comes about, might have a split locker room or a little bit of drama going on with uh, McKinney and Pulisic and maybe some injuries as well. You
well.
guys know what I'm talking about.
We'll have to wait and see. I really don't really keep up with the U.S. team and all their drama. There's another
You
rumor.
guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah. You
All
dropped.
right, I wasn't sure. I got dropped, but
Oh,
I wasn't sure. I was back in. All right, carry on, good sir.
there's
Oh, you
another.
don't know what happened. You don't know what happened with McKinney?
No,
Oh,
Oh,
you're missing out, Jaime. I thought you would have been all over this. This is just perfect for you,
what's going on?
dude. There's cheek clapping, bachelor bachelorette party crashing.
Really?
allegedly.
I'll let Cheeky say it.
Well, okay, so this is all. I don't know if anything's been confirmed or whatnot, but apparently Weston McKinney. Well, he was sent back to Juventus by the coach. No one knew why. It was for breaking COVID protocols, but no one knew the
Oh,
details. Landon Donovan in a Grant Wall podcast came out and said that he knew why, but he was gonna say. And then everyone started raging because journalists were supposed to divulge everything, and they weren't divulging anything. Apparently,
oh.
that's the way you do things. And then rumors came out today saying that Weston McKinney um, invited one person into the bubble, whatever,
Mm,
and that person may have been uh, Kristen Pulisic's sister,
nice.
or some other person, like some other player's like cousin or something. I forget what it was. So
Ooh.
Yeah,
that might have been the case, and everything started blowing up after that.
Hey, keep the family close.
they were all saying he crashed a bachelor party or something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
So he was out partying, and then so apparently I think Juve's trying to get rid of him. So like everything's coming down on this dude.
Let's see what she looks like.
But Jaime, because I know you get great joy at watching the Nats lose.
Yikes.
So I think Pulisic's not going to be available.
Mm.
That Weston dude got sent back, and the Dest I think is injured.
Oh,
And then the Giovanni dude, the Giovanni Serena.
Gio,
yeah.
So
the
they're
hunchback.
gonna be without like 4 starters.
Oh, then they're definitely getting their cheeks clapped in Honduras. Then, I'm for sure. I could see that happening easily.
Man, it did surprise me. Well, I could see them going not to play if they're in San Pedro Sula. They, they're not gonna want to play, but I feel that it's a young squad, man. I am seeing flashbacks of when Mex had their golden generation and there was
Mm.
all this expectations, and this is kind of similar, but
Yeah.
it's a very young team and they want results as if they're a finished product. And I guess that beating Mex is sort of biting them in the ass
Yep.
because the whole region was watching. So now they were like taking them more serious
Mm-hmm.
or paying more attention, like you say, part of like cracking their tactics and whatnot. And so that I think it's hurting them a bit, but it at the same time, making them stronger. But let's see, because you could just tell how much faith there is in Berhalter, because even though he got those results that should have been huge for them, especially beating Max twice, they don't seem to care because, of course, the threat of missing out on the second World Cup, is still casting a huge shadow over them. So that's the big fear. But I feel like they're like thinking, okay, you bring in another coach, all of a sudden this team's gonna be playing tiki taka, and I don't think that's the case. They could change the coach,
Hmm.
and I don't think much will change because it's still a very young team.
Look, it's gonna be a long qualifier. There's 8 teams this time, so there's gonna be 14 games for for 3 direct spots and then a fourth playoff. So
Yeah, they
it's
can have that fourth.
it's gonna be a long thing, but obviously getting off to a great start is very important. Um, I do want to add there is a rumor going on that Tata has plans to bring in a second naturalizado by the name of Alexis Canelo.
The Santos defender, correct?
No, he's the striker
Wait,
for Toluca.
oh, who am I thinking of then? Because I was hearing there's. Oh no, that guy was posting it. He
Oh, you're
got,
talking
I
about the
think.
Brazilian from Santos.
Yeah, I forget his name, but he was like kind of promoting himself. Um, yeah, I don't know who that Canelo guy is.
Doria. You're talking about Doria. Mateus
Yeah,
Doria.
there you go.
Yeah.
Man, with strikers, it just goes to show the you know it's a shame with the whole Vela thing, and it's already broken record. No use in mentioning that, and also with Chicha, well, and then Raul. So that kind of sucks for Tata, where that should have been a problem, where you have an abundance of strikers, and it's a problem of who do you play. To now, you can't. The problem is who can step up and take over that spot. So dude has to be going after naturalizados, and you really shouldn't. Fans shouldn't really hate on him. It speaks to the league. There's just not that many players, and we've talked about this here ad nauseum already. Again, broken record again. Puros discos rotos aquí. Um, Same thing. That's what happens when the league goes off foreigners. You know, so there's not that many players. That's what you're stuck with.
I don't agree with Alexis Canelo. I mean, we have strikers. Um,
Who would you put, Jaime?
everybody's waiting for Santiago, his debut. Now that
Ah,
he's at Newcastle, I think it's time that we put a bow tie on this thing because until he gets actually on the pitch, he'll still be eligible to play for both USA and Mexico. His butt buddy Pepe also didn't get any minutes, so he's still eligible to technically play for both countries until he gets his substitution. But Alexis Canelo, I mean, I get it. He's been at Toluca for a while. He's got a good goal record, but I just feel like it's a slap to the face to have to wait on this guy to get papers and then call him up when there's plenty of talent. You also have our national all-time goal scorer who just did an interview with Manchester United, and he was talking about you know his starts, his upbringing, and he wants to return to the national team. And I think you shouldn't leave him out for Alexis Canelo. I think Chicharito could still be useful off the bench.
That's more
yeah,
ammo to get rid of Tata, man.
well, that's
He's
the
just
thing.
he's trying to
Well,
grab all
Jake
these
is,
players
well, Jake is
and
really
then
quick.
disregard.
How do you
Yeah,
know that's just Tata doing that?
well,
There could be a veto on Chicha. He's the one that he's instigated stuff.
well, they need to bring in Piojo back on to take on the reins because he's no títere, man. He ain't gonna let no one pull his strings. And if Tata's letting people pull his strings, then that's another negative for him, man. He doesn't need to be letting people telling him what to do. If there's no forwards as there's no strikers for Mexico, then why are you disregarding Chicharito?
Um,
Why are you not doing everything you can and saying like to get Carlos Vela even back. And there are like players. You don't just, if you say like all our forwards suck, you don't just try to go get a naturalized. You
Yeah,
try to you
exactly.
use what you have. You use the sucky players that you have because that's what your team is.
We haven't even used Macias yet. He's in Getafe. I honestly think this is Tata's harebrained idea because Alexis is from Argentina, and
He wants his Argy Bros.
I'm sure Tata and Funes Mori go get mate in the morning, and I'm sure they have their connection, so he's got more trust in
Okay.
his own people. You know how it goes.
Actually, this is another great thought I just had. I'm sure if Tata was at Chivas, he would say we're at a really disadvantage because we can only have Mexican
Oh
players, just like
God.
just like we're 50.
Yes, everybody's crucifying Vucetic for saying that,
For saying the obvious.
but that was
He said,
said by almost every coach that's coached Mexico Chivas. So
yeah, they said it just in,
ev-
Matias said it best, which is like, and I'm giving him credit.
even
It just shows like,
even Johan Cruyff says that. It's like it's the obvious.
yeah, but Matias, you have to like how he said it. He said, just coaching the Mexican players, you have to think 2 or 3 times harder. That's basically being at a disadvantage. If you have to do 2, 3 times the work. But then he added, but I love this. I love doing this. So I think that's what Buse was missing. Urban, I'm at a disadvantage, but I like this. I like this
Yeah,
challenge.
he forgot to add the little extra piece there.
Oh wait, what did you just say? You just said Almeida said it.
Almeida said that just being with the Mexican players, he had to work 2, 3 times harder.
Yeah,
But
I
then
need
he
I need to
added,
get that.
but I like this. He said I like doing that.
Yeah. I need to get that. I need to get that screenshot for me again.
Ricardo says they need to naturalize Doria, the Santos center back. Doria is better than Montes. I wouldn't mind him playing for Mexico. He's got good size, very disciplined during games. And he's Brazilian. I mean, have we ever had a Brazilian naturalizado apart from Sinha?
Yeah, the Pumas guy,
Who?
blonde dude,
Oh,
the blonde.
Leandro.
There you go, Leandro Augusto.
Oh, wow, I forgot about that guy.
That thing was legendary.
He was for Leon.
What?
No, he won. He won with Pumas too.
I remember, I could be wrong, but he played for his first team in Mexico was Leon, and then he went to Pumas.
There's this goal that he scored. It was from end to end. That was a goal lasso, man. I
Oh
need to
yeah.
find it and I'll give it to you. Yeah.
You still dream with that goal.
He just thinks of the
Chiquis.
I
Goldilocks hair. He's sold on it.
still remember that goal.
So during these international matches, there was a friendly between Chivas and America. America won 2-0 in the Cotton Bowl. It was a packed stadium. So that was going on. Another defeat for Vucetic, and I feel like they're starting to sharpen the knife. I feel like he might be getting the boot. Who knows?
For a Molero, Jaime, come on now. Let's test this.
I mean, it's not helping
It,
his case. I'll tell you that.
it's a Molero, man. He needs if he has to like try stuff or try players or test tactics. This is time. And now with no Alexis Vega, it's things just got more difficult. Um,
Yeah, that is
but
true.
but we've said it already. Um, we would have to see Pelaez step off first. Buse would have to like
Mm-hmm.
there would have to be a complete breakdown. And I did hear that Chivas was like upset with the Buse interview, and I do feel it was that Tudene kind of set him up with that gotcha moment. Seems like they were looking for something because then Tudene ran that interview with Moncho saying, "Oh, this bothers me." Like he changed the narrative a bit. If you can't win with Chivas, then you shouldn't be coaching this team. And
Yeah.
that's like they're just setting it up here.
Yeah, I agree.
So I do feel like if you're at a team like Chivas, you have to be very careful who you know, what kind of interview and all that you give.
I was looking at this list. Goal scorers ever since Javier left. Leading the pack is Chucky Lozano with 5, Raul Jimenez with 5, Orbelin Pineda with 5, Funes Mori with 4, HH with 4, Lainez with 3, Henry Martin with 3, Uriel Antonio with 3, Macias with 3, and Tecatito Corona with 2. So these are the players holding it down for Mexico. Funes Mori scored 4, man. He's already up there. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's no one's gonna remember those though if he can't get, you know, a goal in qualifiers.
I agree. Good news with Alexis Vega. It's just a sprain, so he's estimated to be out for 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, not bad, man.
Yeah.
I was already
Whoever
hitting
tweeted
breaks.
that he had a blown Achilles, man, you guys need to stop with that.
I'm telling you, man, Chivas is all it's it's clickbait. Any negative info they could throw, they will throw it because it's it's easy bait. It's easy to get the fans, the Chi hermanos, all riled up.
Ricardo is really happy that America won that meaningless friendly.
Is he an Americanista
He
or
said,
is
I
he?
really enjoyed America porking Chivas in that friendly. Vamos, America.
Oh, he said. I didn't know. I,
We can no longer
I
be
thought
friends,
I thought
Ricardo.
I thought he was a gentleman of culture. I'm gonna have to rethink.
There was a video in the DMs that it's inappropriate, but yeah, it was funny.
Oh yeah.
It was like, this is how you say this in Spanish. This is how you say this in Brazilian. This is how you say this.
Oh yeah, I think, but I I wasn't expecting Chivas to beat America. I think they're one of the contenders for the title. They had a really great season last year. I think what did them in was their own, the partying, the players got ahead of it, the escorts and all that. It's sort of like, it was like that meme with the dude on the bike that that trips himself.
Oh, yeah.
That was Ame last season. So it'll be interesting how they do now with it.
Yeah, I mean, the actual Super Classico is not too far away. It's going to happen on September 25th, match day 10. So we're just a few weeks away from the Super Clásico. But yeah, Mexico will face Panama tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Be there or be square. And then Liga MX action returns on Friday. So really no time for a recovery. Pumas are going to play Chivas. So that should be a fun one. One of these
Where
two
is
teams.
that game at?
It's in Mexico City.
Ciudad Universitaria. Okay. And then Pumas, on that note, Miguel Mejia Barón is back. So he's like I think he's
Director
the
or something?
president. Yeah, he took over. He has a spot now.
Oh, okay.
Chiquis should know he's a Puma.
Yeah, he's sports vice president.
Oh,
I
there
don't
you
know.
go.
I don't know what the. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't expect.
No faith on the good doctor, Chiquis.
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. It's all about like. I mean, Pumas is Pumas. They need to either get their Fuerzas Básicas in order, and start pumping out some better players, or open up the pocketbook a little bit more.
Oh, the
or
pocket. Yeah, definitely the pocketbook.
That's the whole problem with Pumas.
Miguel Mejía Barrón, nuevo vicepresidente deportivo de la institución. Okay. Let's see. He was a player in the 60s and 70s, and he coached many teams in Liga MX, including Pumas, and he made them champions in 1990, 1991. He was also the coach of the national team?
Yeah, 94.
No
Jaime,
shit.
were you even born?
I don't know. The name, I mean, I didn't know who he was, you know? I'm just looking him up right now. That's crazy. Okay.
No, yeah, and he was assistant to Tuca at Tigres. So he was with
Oh.
Tuca. He was Tuca's coach, and then he took in '94. Tuca was one of his assistants.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I mean, those guys worked together for a long time.
He's 77.
And
This dude's old, man. He doesn't need this. It's bad for his health.
man, yeah, but his position that he has, just advisor
Low
and
stress.
yeah, you want players like that. Chivas should be full of players like that. It's kind of sad that they don't. I mean, you could see Real Madrid, they had Valdano there for many years. They had the other guy. What's his name? I keep forgetting now. I remember his nickname, La Saeta Rubia. Another Argentine. God damn it. What was his name? He was one of their first, like, superstars. He was, damn. Here he is. It was Di Stefano. There you go. Alfredo Di Stefano. They had that dude. These teams will bring in some of their like icons and stick around. Chivas just wheels their in. Like at the start of the season, they would like parade what's left of the Campeonísimo. And I was like, God, I did just kind of. I don't like that. But
they got him playing Moletos out here in Napa and stuff.
oh, those are other those are Campeonísimos. But
yeah, there's a bunch of retired or ex players that go around small cities in the states collecting monies and doing appearances playing these partidos moleros. It's what we do with our legends, man.
well, they're doing it themselves because it's those matches. Chivas is not the club is not it's not sponsoring them. So if you notice, they wear like a pirata shirt.
Yeah, they do.
They should see, and that's even sad for me to say that. They should be hooking them up and saying,
I
"Yeah, we're
know,
gonna help
right?
you promote this." Some of these dudes need to make their car payment or whatever, and let's
That's what
let's promote them.
that's what Ricardo said. He said Mejia Baron is back stealing all those Puma bucks. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully that's not the case.
Puma bucks is sort of like monopoly money. it's
Not legal tender.
it's
legal bucks is just like only a few though. It's like a roll of bills with like a 20 on the outside and a bunch of ones in the middle.
Well, boys, that pretty much covers all the topics we had for tonight. Do we have any closing thoughts before we wrap up episode 301?
Oh man, let me see. Closing thoughts. I sort of had one, but Yeah, I think we could see a bit of what we talked about last pod. How if you have a lot of your players that they play together, how those teams tend to do better than if you could have players in really good teams, but they're all spread out. And we're kind of seeing this with the U.S. They have their Euro stars, but they all play different teams. And this is right now Mex team doing good is mostly, correct me if I'm wrong, lads. This is mostly Liga MX players.
Yeah, that's true.
So just pointing that out, just throwing that out there.
I mean, when we talk about our golden generation, we'll not even come close to the current Belgian squad that, they're the golden generation, man. I mean, we'd be lucky enough to have one of those world class players, and they have a bunch, and even they can't win any silverware. It just goes to show how impossible it is to win at the international level. It's not easy. It's not just you don't win on paper. This isn't FIFA. You can't just put a bunch of really talented players and here you go, figure it out. Like it's so hard to do. So I think the fans should be grateful that we're not at a bad start to the road to Qatar. 2 out of 2 victories and maybe a potential third. I think it should be smooth sailing. What you got for me,
My
Cheekies?
final, my final thoughts are I think Panama has a decent shot at getting the win against Mexico. Also, the United States, um, I think, are gonna come back and make the World Cup. They'll be all
But
right
but how do you see them against Honduras?
against
Especially
Honduras.
going in with missing players and all this drama.
That might
How
be
do you
a
see that playing out? Because think about it. If they fail to get points, they're going to be stuck at 2. And then who do they play after that?
that might be a blessing. They might actually
Like
tighten
fire
up
their coach or what?
and fire themselves up. They might actually get motivated, understand that this is serious, and hopefully the pressure doesn't crumble them and they come out and do okay. I think they might still get a bad result against Honduras, but I think down the line they'll come together after a break and and eventually qualify for the World Cup. And I'm sort of hoping for that because if they fail again, then all these Mexican American fans are going to be insoportables, man.
Okay, well, see, they this is their road. They play Honduras tomorrow away, and then after that, I do think they have like a slump buster in Jamaica. They're hosting Jamaica, who's been one of the worst teams. So that could put him back up. But then they play on the road to Panama, and that could be another tough, tough game, followed by Costa Rica at home, and then they will close it with Mexico at home. So
November 12th.
I do think they will have to, if they lose, if they were to lose, which possibilities are pointing quite high. Make they need to have a strong after they will have to beat Jamaica and then get as much points from their next 2 games before playing Mex.
I think it's harder not to qualify than it is to qualify if you're the US national team. Like they have to really like try hard not to win these games to like not make the World Cup. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know, Jaime. I think you're discounting some of these rivals, man. I think you're taking some credit from them.
I think eventually, Costa Rica will bounce back. So yeah, who knows? Maybe things will get complicated over there for that 4th spot. But I personally think, Mexico, Canada, and US will make it. They definitely want to do do everything they can to go to the Qatar, and
To
then
have, yeah,
because they're going to be hosting next, so you want to look good for your dress rehearsal. You don't want to just be like the country that automatically qualified to the World Cup because they host it. They want to prove to themselves that they can qualify without any help. Ricardo's asking us when we'll be back on Spaces because he finally made a Twitter account. He wants to hop in on the conversation.
I don't know if I can, but I was thinking maybe tomorrow during the game, but I don't know what's going on with you guys.
I probably won't be able to do it tomorrow.
So then maybe for the next one, since there's a game, they're playing World Cup game.
Yeah, we'll go ahead.
Like if he's got WhatsApp, we could get him on either way. Like if he wants to get WhatsApp and we do it this way again, or if he wants to get Discord and we
can end up with like 20 apps.
Nah, we'll hop back on Twitter Spaces. Not sure, maybe for next episode. I'm sure we could do it.
Yeah, but if you do have WhatsApp, shoot the Cantina account a message, and then we could do it through there.
Yeah. If you want to say it with your chest, man, this will be your platform to be able to talk to us, give us your thoughts. We definitely don't talk about America as much on this podcast, so maybe you could be our voice for that. But I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, episode 301. Let's hope Mexico gets a perfect 3 out of 3 tomorrow against Panama, and hopefully Honduras beats USA just for the lulz. But hope everyone has a great night.